Alright, hey, Hayes Mega here, and welcome to another Hayes Mega Sur Ron video. Alright, so in this video is part of the rear end rebuild dealie, alright, the rear end rebuild party. We're actually done with the party, alright, the rear end has been rebuilt. But, so one of the things I realized is that we installed a longer swing arm. I've never had a bike that has a longer swing arm. I've never extended a swing arm before. So, it's been extended by like 50 millimeters, all right? When I measured it, it was like 55, all right? Compared to this guy, all right? This swing arm right here, okay, the stock one. So it's a good deal longer. It's like more than 5. Yeah, it's like 5 centimeters longer, guys. so it's one of the things I noticed when I sat on it is the rear end feels softer now. Okay, so and it makes sense, all right, because you've got a longer swing arm. You've got it's like you got a longer lever, all right. You've got more leverage on that shock, so it's gonna push the shock a lot easier, all right. So supposedly you're supposed to get a stiffer spring, all right. You'll need a stiffer spring if you extend the swing arm, all right. Now I don't know if that's true for this one, all right, is what I'm gonna say, but yeah, I mean I don't know if 5 centimeters is a lot. It looks like a lot. Okay, but anyway, so today, so the first step is we're gonna go set the sag. All right, but before we set the sag, I want to know how much travel we have now. Okay, so I've done it before. All right, with I think it was with one of my previous shocks. I had a RockShox shock on this bike before, and I tested the travel. All right, so what I did was I took the spring off, and then I jacked the bike up in the air like it is right now. All right, I fully extended the swing arm, and then I measured how much the suspension travels through the stroke. Okay, because it's going to be less at the shock than it is at the wheel. All right, so what we observed was it was about like 8 1/4 inches of travel. All right, that's not bad. All right, I think a lot of like full-size dirt bikes got like more than like 10 inches of travel. Okay, but 8 inches is plenty for the Light Bee, so I'm gonna say. All right, but now, so now that we have a longer swing arm, our suspension travel is more now. Okay, so and we have to figure that out. All right, because it's longer, so it's like, it's physics, guys. The longer the lever, the more distance it's a work equation, right? What was it? Force equals work times distance or something around there. I'll put the formula below. But when you make the lever longer, the work is the same. All right, you're doing the same work, but you're using less force. All right, so so that. Because you have less force, there's less force to move the suspension. You need a stiffer spring to support you. Okay, so that's what Hayes is getting at. All right, I'm trying to explain all this scientifically. All right, but yeah, since you have a longer lever arm now, it's easier to move it, and also it moves a longer distance. Okay, so since you're using less force, but you're moving a greater distance, and what that means is the wheel is going to move a greater distance too. So the travel is going to change, okay? So remember, it was 8 1/4 before, all right? So with this guy, 8 1/4, all right? That's what I measured when I did the travel test in the previous video. I will put a link to that video at the end of this video if you guys were interested in watching that video, all right? But yeah, so that's a scoop. We're gonna do another travel test, all right? Suspension travel test. And then so what can we gather from that? We can figure out our sag, all right? So a sag should be anywhere from 20% to 30% of the suspension travel, all right? Or the stroke. Like, there's 2 ways you could do it. You can measure how much the shock is moving, all right? Or you can measure how much the wheel, I would think the more accurate way to do it is to actually check how much the wheel moves, all right, or how much the axle moves in when it goes through its stroke. Okay, and to do that, we're going to use this bad boy. All right, we're gonna use the Motul Slacker V4. All right, I've had this for about a year now. I've used it like a handful of times, and it's time to go bust it out again. All right, basically it's like a one-man sag measurement tool. Okay, you know how you have to like use a ruler and check how much it moves and all that. Well, this does it for you, and it does it very easily. Okay, so the hard part will be we have to remove the spring from the shock. All right, so what we're gonna do, Hades Meg is running the Vonkat 10.5 shock. Okay, the Vonkat shock. All right, Vonkat kind of sponsored me for a year. All right, and I've had their shock ever since. All right, and it's still going strong. So that's the one we're going to be using for this bike in 2024, if I don't break it. Okay, but so far it's hanging in there. Anyway, we're going to remove the Vonkat shock, and then we're going to remove the spring. All right, and then we're going to put it back on the bike. All right, so there is a travel limiter on the shock. So and that is in the form of a bump stop. All right, there's a bump stop on the bottom. So when you get to the limit of your travel, there's a little bumper there to soften the blow. All right, or else you'll damage the shock if you hit it too hard. Okay, that's what the bumper's there for, to limit the travel. All right, and so we're going to measure from fully extended stroke to fully compressed stroke. All right, and basically when it hits the bumper. All right, when it hits the bump stop, and we're going to measure that distance that the wheel travels. Okay, and yeah, the reason we have to take the spring off is because we can't do that unless you want to, unless you could find a way to compress the suspension all the way when you're sitting on it. Okay, but the easiest way to do it is to remove the spring and then reinstall the shock without the spring. All right, and then there will be nothing holding the bike up. Right, and then what we're going to do is we take a measurement from here, and then we'll lower the bike all the way until it hits the bump stop, and then we'll measure that distance. All right, and that will be our total suspension travel. All right, I don't know if anybody's ever done this for the KO Moto swing arm. All right, maybe Hades Omega is probably the first one to do it. I have found very little information about this swing arm on the interwebs. Okay, so that's why I'm making it, and yeah, I mean, this is my race bike, and I'm the tuner, so I wanna tune it properly. Okay, guys, but anyway, it'll be helpful to know how much extra travel we gain from extending the swing arm. All right, I'm kind of excited to ride it, and I'm not too sure. I'm kind of up in the air whether this is a good modification or not. All right, honestly, I just wanted a stronger swing arm. I didn't really want a longer swing arm. Okay, so there's some benefits of having it longer, and there's some benefits of having it shorter. Right, obviously shorter, it'll change direction faster. If it's longer, the bike will be more stable. All right, and I believe the ride quality will be better. All right, so that might be something I'm looking forward to riding it off-road, because this bike beats the shit out of you when you ride it off-road. I'm not gonna lie, dude. So it's got pretty good front suspension. Maybe the rear suspension will be better now that it's stretched a little bit. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go remove the shock, and then we'll go remove the spring. All right, and then we'll put it back on. So I'll see you when that happens. Okay, I got the Vonkat shock out. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've done it, so I have to kind of figure out how to do it again, but I got it out. All right, so now we're gonna take this spring out. All right, and what we got to do is we got to loosen this collar here. So we're definitely gonna mess up our preload. But what I'm gonna do is I'll mark the where the collars are. All right, see how like I have it marked with silver here? I'm gonna mark it again. All right, so we'll know where this collar was before. Okay, so. And I probably should have loosened it while it was on the bike. Good going, Hades Omega. All right, so anyway, we're gonna remove the spring now. Okay. Okay, I got the spring out of there, and we're just gonna go put it back on the bike without the spring. Okay, just like that. Also, I would like to point out that my bump stop has a crack in it. All right, right there. Okay, too much bottoming out, Hades Omega. Okay, so that's what that is. And also, I want to note that this collar was pretty low on the thing. I think it was like around here or something. Now we're definitely gonna have to adjust the sag again. Okay, But yeah, it was like around here. That was like most of the yeah, it was like here, I think. So we used the most of the travel on this, the the threads here on the shock body. I think it's more preload down here and it's less here. So yeah, now I do have a stiffer spring for this, so I may wind up using that. All right, if we run out. All right, that's how you know you have too soft a spring, is when you adjust the sag. When you're adjusting your sag and you can't get your sag is still like you're maxed out on the sag adjustment, and you still need more you still need less sag. Okay, so that's a scoop with that. All right, so I do have another spring around here somewhere, so and it's supposed to be a stiffer one that came with this shock, so but I never used it. All right, I've been pretty happy with the way it's been. So okay, so yeah, I'll go and reinstall it just like this. Okay guys, I got the shock back in there without the spring. All right, and check this out, guys. Before we do any measurements, let's just test the travel here. Right, I already did it already, but so I'm gonna pull the shock up all the way through its stroke. All right, we'll keep on going. Yep, keep on going. All right, boom, there. We've hit the bump stop. That's the max travel right there. Okay, that's bottomed out. Okay, and we're almost hitting the rear fender, guys. Almost. Look at how much gap is there between the 2-finger gap. All right, I've got a 2-finger gap between the fender and the wheel at max travel. All right, at bottom out. Okay, so is that okay? Yeah, I think it's okay, guys. So it's just barely, you know, cleared the fender. I'm kind of, what the heck? I'm like, whoa, good thing. I know. Breathe a sigh of relief, Hades Omega, right? Here's, check it out again. Actually, I can do it with the, well, you know what? I can't do it with the shock absorber. Okay. I'll do it that way. I can do it just like this. Okay. That's max travel. I'm looking at the bump stop and it's full contact. So it just barely clears, guys. Barely. Alright, I don't see anything hitting anything, so that's good. Alright, and then that's a full top out right there. Alright, that was top out and that was bottom out. Okay, wow, can you believe it? Almost all of that. Alright, so now now what we gotta do is measure how much the wheel moved. Alright, and we're gonna measure from the axle to the fender. Alright, that's gonna be our point of reference. Alright. Alright, Hayes Meg here. I've got the Slacker V4 set up, the Motul Slacker V4 set up. Okay, so we're gonna test the travel, alright, out. We're gonna see how much wheel travel we got, alright. So I'm not gonna lie, I had to put the little clamp here all the way at the edge, man. We almost ran out of fender to put it on, alright. And the fender kind of, it bows a little bit when I put this the wire on it, right? Because it's like spring loaded. Okay, anyway, I've got it here. It's hooked up. You can see the sag. You can see how much the measurement is right there, all right? And it's in millimeters. So I'm just going to pull up on it, and it should move all the way. All right, I can read it from here too. So okay, I'm going. All right, there we go. We're topped out. Oh. That's not. It's like this. Huh. I don't think you could measure any more than that, guys. Yeah. I don't think you could measure more than that. And now it says 4 on it when I go all the way back. Alright, we're going to zero it again. Oh, yeah, when it bottoms out, it stops. It doesn't measure more than 200 millimeters, guys. Dadgummit, what the freak, dude? This gadget, man, I paid a lot of money for this thing. It doesn't. Well, let me figure it out, guys. Hold on. Okay, I ran into a problem with the Slacker, guys. It won't do more than 200 millimeters of measurement, right, guys? What the heck, man? Why is this just the way it's programmed? Okay, guys. But anyway, we've got more than 200 millimeters of travel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. All right, I'm going to zero this. So I'm going to add, let's add 50 millimeters. So I'm going to pull this up. You know what we can do? There we go. I can use the jack it up. All right, I'm going to use the jack, push the wheel up a little bit. Push the wheel up a little bit. Okay, until we get to, let's say, I was going to do 50, right? Okay. Oh, it moves around because the jack is moving around. I'm going to step on the jack. Okay, I'm going to hold the bike down so the bike doesn't move too. So, okay, so 46. I'm going to try to get that to 50. I'm trying to cheat the system here. 47, 8. Okay, 50. All right, so we got to remember we need to add 50 to the measurement. Okay, guys. So I've got it says here 50 right here. Okay, oh, 50 something. When I move the bike on the stand, it messes around with it. Oh, I got too much. Okay. I wanted 50, man. What the hell? Okay, I'll do this again. Oh, too much. Alright, how about 30? Let's just do 30. Okay, we're at 30 millimeters, alright? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero it, and then it's going to check from there, okay? Well, see, whenever I move it, this is not accurate at all, dude. Okay, 32 millimeters, guys. Let me see. See, when I move the bike on a thing... No, that's not... We're not going to do that. All right, here's what we're going to do, guys. I thought I could be slick and use the jack for that. I'm just going to pull it up, all right? I have to pull it up, hold it, and then we have to remember where I held it, okay? So, all right, let's do 40. All right, so I'm at 40 right now, and then we're going to reset. Okay? And then we're going to go the rest of the way. That means all we have to do is add 40 to the final number. Okay? Boom. All right, we're bottomed out at 184. All right, 184 plus 40 is 224. All right, guys? Or 185. All right, I squeezed the bump stop a little bit. Let's do 125. All right? Yeah, 125. 185 plus 40. Okay? Now it's going to go minus. It went the other way. See? So 40. 185 plus 40, guys. So 185 plus 40 is 20. Okay, guys, so here's the math, all right? Okay, so 185 is the measurement we got, guys, plus 40, all right? 225, that is our travel, okay, guys? 225 millimeters, all right? Now, we're going to convert 225 millimeters. Okay, we're going to convert 225 millimeters to inches, all right? I'm going to use Google for it. 225 millimeters? It says 225 meters. It's supposed to be millimeters. Come on. Alright. 8.85 inches of travel. Alright, so if you remember correctly, the last time I did this, we were at 8 1/4. Alright, so 8.86. We'll round up. 8.86. So we got. So here's the math, guys. We got to do the science, right? 8.86, right? Was it? Yep. 8.86 inches is our travel, and then now we need to divide that. Oh, we need to subtract it by 8 1/4. Okay, so by extending the swing arm by about 50 centimeters, we gained a half an inch of travel, all right? 0.61 inches of travel, all right, guys? So not that much, but there you go, all right? So I want to make sure I write that down somewhere, okay, guys? So here it is again. Here, we'll do the measurement again real quick. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you guys it again, all right? We already did the math, but I just want to show you. So we're at 40 right now, but technically this is minus 40, all right? Because what we did is I made it, we moved it up into the stroke and we zeroed it, all right? Because the Slacker V4 can't measure more than 200 millimeters, all right? I just found that out right now. I didn't know you could, it wouldn't do that, all right? But anyway, we're gonna move it through the whole stroke until it bottoms out, all right? So we're topped out right now, and so we're at minus 40 right now, so that's why we have to add 40 to it, all right? Okay, I'm moving through the stroke. Okay, I'm touching the bump stop, 184. If I squeeze it a little bit, I can get to 185. Okay, so we're just gonna call it 185. All right, guys. So that's where I'm getting that number, and when I go back, it should be 40, but there you go. it's not super accurate, guys, but it's close. A millimeter is very small thing. All right, so 185. All right, so 185 plus 40. All right, because we have to get to 0. All right, that's the math there. 185 plus 40 is 225. 225 converted 225 millimeters converted to 225 millimeters converted to what is it? To inches is 8.86 inches. Okay, and we gained 0.61 inches of travel with the KO swing arm. Okay, so it's just a little bit longer. It's not that much. All right, but it would be a good idea to adjust the sag again. All right, all right. Here's Miguel. Out. Okay, so with that, we're done doing the testing the travel with the new swing arm. All right, it's specifically the KO Moto swing arm and the Vonkat rear shock. All right, and so to recap, yeah, man, Hayes Mega does a scientific method, man. All right, so we had the introduction, the experiment, and then the conclusion. All right, this is the conclusion part, guys. So to conclude, we found out how much travel we have, right, for the rear wheel. All right, I think a stock Sur Ron Light Bee has about like 8 inches of travel or something. All right, like I mentioned, I measured it before, all right, in a previous video, and we got 8 1/4. All right, I wrote it down somewhere. All right, with the stock swing arm, with this guy. Okay, and then so what we did is we took the spring out of the shock and we put the shock back on without the spring. All right, that allows us to move the wheel through the whole travel. All right, also we did find out how much clearance we have from the rear fender. All right, we're pretty damn close. That makes me wonder, with the knobbies on, will the knobbies hit the fender at full compression? It might. All right, guys. Okay, so anyway, the reason I wanted to do this was so we could find out what the maximum travel is, okay? What the max travel of the suspension is, so we can calculate how much sag we need to adjust, all right, for the shock for, all right? Because I noted when I sat on it, it felt like it was softer than it was before, okay? So we definitely have to add more preload, all right? We either have to, add more preload or add a stiffer spring, all right? And then, yeah, we'll have to adjust the sag again. So to get the max travel, like I mentioned, we put the shock back on without the spring, and then we measured the whole travel, all right? So along the way, so here's something I didn't know, is that the Motul Slacker V4 doesn't measure more than 200 millimeters, okay? So when you get to 200 millimeters, it just freaks out and it doesn't tell you anything, and that's kind of useless, all right? That doesn't help us at all, all right? My measuring instrument has this little like a gimmick to it type of thing, all right? Oh, okay, so what I did is I lifted the wheel up until we got to 40 millimeters travel, all right? And then I hit 0 on the app, all right? And so what it does is it zeroes the meter out, and then I let go again, all right? I let go, and it went down 40 millimeters, all right? It went Yeah, it's zero. It should be 0 now, right? When I hit 0, and then when I let go, it should be 40 millimeters when it springs back all the way, when it tops out, okay? So it says 40, but it actually is negative 40, okay? It should be negative 40, but it doesn't say it. It just says 40, all right, guys? It's not super smart, okay? So all we have to do is remember whatever reading we get from the slacker, we add 40 to it, all right? So that's what we did. I moved the wheel through the whole stroke, and we got the measurement of 185 millimeters, okay? So what's 185 plus 40 is 225 millimeters, all right? And then 225 millimeters converted to inches is about 8.86 inches, all right? And if you remember correctly, 8 1/4 inches is how much travel we had before. So we gained, all right, the math, all right, this is all the math portion here. We gained 0.61 inches of travel, all right, over the stock swing arm, all right. So interesting thing to know, all right. So yeah, we're gonna have to add a little bit more, but we're gonna have to reduce the sag a little bit for sure, okay. But anyway, I will adjust the sag in another video, right? Because to do that, I have to put all my gear on. I'm probably gonna put my leathers on and all that stuff. You have to, and we're gonna do what's called adjusting the rider sag, okay, on the rear shock. All right, and then we'll be good. Hopefully we won't run out of adjustment, because if we run out of adjustment, that means we need a stiffer spring. Okay, so anyway, so that was that. I just wanted to do that into interest of science. I don't know if anybody on the internet has done this. There's so very little documentation on this swing arm, is what I want to say. Okay, but that's what about 50 millimeters or 5 centimeters of extra extended swing arm does for you. All right, it gets you about ½ an inch extra travel, right? Which is good. It's good. More travel is always better, is what I'll say. All right, that means you can go, when you go over terrain, it's going to be a little more smoother. All right, it's not going to be as such bumpy ride. Okay, your suspension will be more stable. All right. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys, I hope this video was educational and entertaining. Thanks for watching. That's the max travel of a Sur Ron Light Bee with a KO Moto swing arm and a Vonkat 10.5 shock. Okay, it's probably very similar for other shocks as well. Okay, the travel is very similar among all the other shocks. All right, but yeah, this was a Vonkat 10.5. All right, thanks for watching. Here's my out.